developed over the years into a fantastic city and a great place at the beginning of Lake Taihu. Let's take a look at last year's race, the 2016 edition. The course started with a prologue. In the opening stages, well, it came down to the sprints, and it was Marechko, the Italian, who really stretched his legs and showed his muscle. On the climbs there, it was Cameron Bailey, the Australian, for attacking Team Gusto, who took the lead and looked like he was going to win as the sprint stages played out. The crash saw the leader out and regain, while the sprinters battled it out. But then on the final stage, the penultimate one, Bailey crashed. Had to change a wheel. Leonardo Ducci, the rider in the blue, riding his final race, took out the overall honours. What a race it was, full of excitement and entertainment. And this year's edition will be no different. And there is the start of Lake Tai that overlooks this fantastic city. Let's take a look at the map now for the course of this year's race. Well, there you can see Shanghai. We're about 2 hours west of there. There's Lake Taihu, one of the biggest freshwater lakes in China. And you can see the stages there, opening with a 5.3 kilometre prologue. And then the stages as they go.
Last year we had Cam in the leaders jersey, he won the hilltop stage, but this year there's no hilltop stage and we don't have Cam, so I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think the GC will turn more to the sprint and who can hang on in that last stage with a few hills. So we know the course well and we've studied it in great detail for last year, so I think that'll prep us well for this year.
The sprinters are going to control the first 7 stages, which is handy. Makes it harder for them, but yeah, it's all going to come down to that last day. Last year I think there was only around 25 guys in the front group, so hopefully we'll have a couple of guys there.
I think we have a guy too for the GC, it's Sergey. He can do very well tomorrow in the prologue, and he is like really strong guy. Yeah, so I think we can win like some stages and look too for the GC.
My last race it was World Championship in Bergen, but hopefully I left some legs, so we'll see. The team dynamics is doing pretty well. I mean, we have pretty much everyone. So for GC, for breakaways, for stage win. So we're looking forward really for this race, and you know, it's a lot of big teams here, and hopefully we have own goal to make a good result.
Our sprinter will be the youngest in the race. We think he's even the youngest registered UCI rider, but he's won quite a lot of races this year, so we'll hopefully build experience for him and see if we can get him up for a good result.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm only 18 and it'll be interesting, and I'm keen to see how I go against the big names with 8 Pro Conti teams here, and like really stoked to race against, say, the likes of Moretsko and those sprinters. So yeah, really excited to see how we go.
For this tour, we are here with a very good team, so that my teammates help me in this all this stage. There are many flat stages, so we believe to do well in the sprint, and I don't know how many stages we can take, so we will see day by day maybe.
I like coming here. It's flat, there's no long transfers, good racing, so it's always a good way to finish off the season.
So plenty of riders fancy their chances. So let's take a closer look now at this opening prologue. 5.3 kilometres. Not too technical at all. A couple of corners, but it's big, wide open roads. The weather is warm. And this was yesterday, of course. The riders there warming up, getting themselves ready in the way they like most. And then it didn't take long before we saw the first riders roll down the ramp. 1 minute intervals separated them. United Healthcare rider there going down the ramp. This was a chance for many riders just to test the legs. Morgan Smith there, he was the early leader from the St George cycling team. Ben Hill also putting up a good performance. And there's one of the Novo Nordisk riders there. Also, all of the riders on that squad ride with diabetes. But it was Guillaume Bovin from the Israeli Academy. 6 minutes and 12 seconds with Sergei Techkov. He was to come. He was the danger to Bovin. Could he do a good job? Techkov there on the start line. He's had some good results this year in opening prologues, but he just missed the mark.
Time splits are so small that really kind of starts tomorrow. So, I mean, we'll take it. We have a few guys also in the top 20, I assume, not too far back. So, but yeah, tomorrow starts the real thing. But yeah, for sure, we're happy to take the win today.
And so there it is, Guillaume Bovin, the Canadian from Montreal, 6 minutes 12 seconds. Techkov on the same time. Morgan Smith, the Australian, in third place, just 1 second off. Well, for the Chinese rider, he said he's not good in the sprints, but he'll look for his opportunities as the race progresses. That's Cheung King Lok there from Team Hong Kong. So there's all the jersey wearers. Of course, Bovin in the orange leaders jersey.
Hi, I'm Chris Williams and I ride for Team Novo Nordisk. Keep watching the Tour of Taihu Lake.
You see the wonder of a fairy tale. You can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me. I'll cross the street. I have a dream. I'll cross the street. I have a dream. I have a dream, a song to sing, to help me cope with anything. If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me. I'll cross the street. I have a dream.
Today from Well, beautiful Wuji, the city of the start of this year's Tour of Lake Taihu, the 8th edition. Some of the old architecture blended in with the new. It's a city of 6 million people. Metropolitan holds about 3 million and 3 million in the urban areas. The star of Lake Tai, you can see there, the wheel that overlooks the lake and the city itself. The Grand Canal that runs right through the city. It really is such a beautiful place to visit. Great architecture. And the Grand Buddha, one of the tallest statues in China. And one of the tallest statues of Buddha in the world, in fact. Many visitors flock to this annually. It's also a national garden city with 17 wetland parks. So they really do look after their city. But it's also a city of textile, historically, but they're devoted to new industries, such as the electric motor and solar technology as well. And no surprises, it's a bicycle manufacturing city for international brands. And well, when the sun sets on Wuji, the city does not sleep. The nightlife continues on, great restaurants, great eateries, and you can just stroll down the canal and look at the sights and sounds of such a great place. So let's take a look at today's stage. Stage 1, 111.3 kilometres. Well, it's pretty much pan flat. Couple of loops around a big circuit there. And then, of course, it weaves its way around the lake back to the finish line. Riders signing on here. Formal part of the day. Jerseys being presented on the stage.
Today from last year, it's a bit wetter. How will that affect things today?
So the condition is good, and today we try to stay in front and we try to do the sprint. So it's a good day for us. The weather it isn't good, but so we try to do well.
And what is your plan? Because you're 20 seconds behind at the moment. Will you just try for stage wins, or how do you think it will work for the week for you?
I'm sure today we try to do well. So I don't know what happened in the next day, and we try day by day.
Neha, good to see you again, back again. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. 2 months ago I broke my wrist, and then I lost 1 month of races, but I trained good for this race, and I'm here to do better than last year, so we'll see how it will go.
Last year you won 1 stage though, so you're hoping for 2, maybe 3 stages. I mean, how's the form?
No, I think the form is good, and yes, last year I won 1 stage, and I did 4 podium, and was a good transfer, but this year I'm here to do better.
Yeah. And what about today? You look at the stage, sprinter stage, perfect for you, but the rain, how does that affect things?
No, I think rain will not be a problem because it's not very cold. So I think that in the end will be a massive sprint, and the leader is from the Israel Cycling Academy. That is a good team. I think they will try to control the race, and yes, I think it will be a sprint in the end.
Guillaume, congratulations. Here you are in orange. And the team, 4 in the top 20. Lots of cars to play. What is the plan for today?
We'll see. It's after a prologue, there's never some very big gaps, you know, and but we're definitely happy with the options we have with 4 guys in the top 12. So yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of chances it's a bunch sprint today, as the previous years have shown here. So yeah, we'll try to take it in the bunch sprint if it comes down to it. But there's 111 kilometers of racing before that, so anything can happen. It's a bike race, and for us, it's basically just like the race started today. So
there are sort of seconds at the intermediate.
Communications. There's 2 minutes available throughout the week, so yeah, I think it's going to come down to that, and we're definitely going to have to fight for those.
And it's a bit wet today. There's been a few blustery things coming off the lake. Conditions, how is that going to affect things?
It's the same for everyone. We're lucky we've got Schwalbe tires, so they grip quite well under the rain. We've always had all our best races under the rain this year, so yeah, nobody enjoys the rain, but we're not too unhappy about it.
In the red jersey, you have a chance to take the orange jersey today with 10 seconds on the finish line. What are the plans for the team today?
Well,
I'm certainly happy with the jersey. I'm going to just try and conserve my energy as much as possible for the coming stages. But very happy indeed to be in this jersey.
这样我可以保留体力，到最后第7站也可以有很好的体力去保卫这个红衣服。
Good luck.
So King Lok there, the quickest Chinese rider yesterday. So he wears that red jersey as the leading greater Chinese general classification leader. The riders about to get underway for stage 1 of the Look Tour of Lake Taihu. Well, so here's the start-finish line in Wuzhou for stage 1 of the Tour of Lake Taihu. And I can tell you, it started under gloomy conditions. It rained overnight and it persisted throughout the morning. And so at the moment, our helicopter cannot get up into the air because of the low cloud. So we're going to now take a look at the 2016 edition, and our commentator for that race was Rob Hatch. So let's take a look back on this great race.
So to the start, 8:25, bright and early in the morning. Most of these riders awake at 5 a.m. Orange jersey, first race leader, Alexander Golovash of Ukraine. The gun would go, and there would be action more or less straight away from the off. In the blue jersey, the best young rider, Timur Mali. In the red jersey for the best Chinese rider, Zhao Jingyao. And Karim Korami of Iran, where the green points jersey as well. 131 riders to the start, 16 from Greater China.
I hope we get,
very fast start. Approaching the first intermediate sprint, any early breakaways were brought straight back. In fact, we had a 9-man group of riders attempting to get away, but work done really hard by Southeast, Villiers Southeast this year. For Jakub Marichko, winner in 2015, he was led out, and he would duly go on to take the first sprint points, and of course the bonus seconds, having started the day 20 seconds down on the leader. The first sprint taken by Jakub Marichko. Mei Yingwang would be in second place, and the rider from Mongolia, Volor Edere, taking the third. 3 to 1 bonus seconds available in the intermediate sprints, and the early glory going to Jakub Marichko, and after 40 kilometres, no breakaway after a rapid start. So Marichko taking the early blood. And it's time to go live onto the course. Hello, good morning from China, and a very warm welcome. I'm Rob Hatch. 14.1 kilometres to go. One intermediate sprint out of the way. Marichko was there. And we've had riders trying to get up the road all day long, mainly those teams who don't particularly have sprinters trying to get in the breakaway. The team in the white, orange, and black, you can see there, the Attack Gusto team trying to get out there. They don't have a sprinter. We've got a young team from Australia as well. There's a George Marilla team trying to get in the breakaway. And for the first time in the race, some sort of organisation behind. Villiers Southeast wearing those grey, yellow and red jerseys and trying to work for Jakub Marichko. He's the sprinter, the reigning champion of this race. And if you've looked at the parkour coming up over the next 7 days, you'll know he probably doesn't have a chance of taking the overall this year because of the climb on stage 3. So it's all about stage wins for them. They naturally haven't got a rider in the break. It's their duty to chase it down, along with the team who has the jersey. inCycling Club said they will honour the orange jersey. They will try to keep it, and a good lead for Alexander Golovash means they have a good chance to do so today. But they'll be wary about giving the breakaway too much rope here with 39 kilometres to go. It's really strong out behind. Team sharing duties. Minsk in the dark blue and red jerseys. Villiers Southeast in grey, orange, yellow, chasing on line today. They're one of the 5 professional continental teams here in this Tour of Taihu Lake. 22 teams in total, 6 riders per team, and we're getting to see our first composition of the break. There is René Correa in the blue jersey, Mexican rider who you heard from in the opening in the programme, who's actually in the breakaway at the World Championships just a few weeks ago. Rider number 56 there was Juan Wenchu of Attack Team Gusto. It's taken quite a long time for this breakaway to go. It is the break that has taken the second intermediate sprint. A little chaotic behind. Different teams trying to do something. Team Lufshan Landscape were involved. 2 riders from the start team out there though, and having a good go. We already saw René Correa involved in the breakaway. He came around on the right hand side there, the Mexican in the blue jersey, but it would be the team from Latvia who would take it. Points and seconds for them. be Kanepies of Latvia to take the 5 points. Koop of Netherlands in second to take 3. And Rayabi of the Tabriz Petrochemical team, who already have the green jersey, able to try and defend those points. Number 83 there from Hainan Julin in the blue jersey. So Alexei Kasyanov. And behind from Tabriz Petrochemical. Working really hard. Ali Kademi. So 37 kilometres to go. We expect it to be a really fast-moving one today. The short nature of this stage. 22 teams arrived in Eastern China. I think they've ridden the jet lag out now. This race having been moved up to a 2.1 event on the Asia Tour. Seen 2 laps of around 30.7 kilometres. It's showing off the beauty of Lake Tai around the world. We've all seen the bustling shots of Wuxi in the prologue and the start. But out into the countryside and out onto the road. Heading the breakaway there with 61 on his back. That's the rider from Beijing, XTS Nova. That's Murdajan Halmuradov. It's a Chinese-based team, but it's an entire list of 6 riders from Uzbekistan there. Patrick Sharp wearing 172. He rides for St George Meridian. I gather we've got plenty of viewers watching down under in Australia. He'll be very, very pleased to support, I'm sure, that entirely Australian team. 83 there's Alexei Kasyanov, who was up there in that intermediate sprint. 56 in the yellow and white, we've seen that rider already. That's Huang Wenchung, Chinese rider from attack team Gusto. One of 16 riders, by the way, from China here. 23 there from Nippo, Genki Yamamoto, and the fact that Nippo have a rider involved makes it very, very interesting. They don't have to do any chasing. We're getting the entire breakaway on the screen now. Rayabi is there, Pat Shot, we mentioned. 2 riders from Ukraine in Kasyanov and Kremeninski as well. So 9 riders out there. 9 riders, not an easy number to control. In fact, we're just 6-man teams. And 6-man teams, certainly when sprints are involved, I think it's proved. We saw at the Tour of Britain, actually, one of the premier races that pioneered the smaller teams. Lots of action, very difficult to control, and for those sprinter teams, they often have to do deals with others out there as well. Good to see the top French team, Delcon Marseille Provence, with Thomas Valberio. Not going to be long though for this breakaway. Handful of seconds out there ahead. And they got away so late that it was difficult to get time on them. I think they've had a maximum of around 1.5 minutes. But if it does come together with 30 kilometres still to go, it's going to be a hard job for the inCycling club and for Villa Triestina. Villa Triestina now the main sponsor, Southeast behind. Here's your race leader, by the way, Alexander Golovash of inCycling club. What a few months it's been for the new team, who are, by the way, a 3rd division team, a continental team from Belarus, riding Abu Dhabi Tour with some of the biggest names in the world just a few weeks ago, and already leading this race. They do have a realistic prospect of holding on to the jersey, at least until stage 2. Favourite for this stage, I have to say, is last year's winner and the best sprinter in the race. That's the Italian Jakub Mareczko. Bronze medal at the World Championships at under 23 level a couple of weeks ago. But there's a 20-second difference in the overall general classification between Golovash and Mareczko. As the breakaway just starts to lose a bit of force. There's 23 behind Yamamoto, the Japanese rider, riding for Nippo Vini Fantini in the navy blue, orange and white. These guys up front will know that their days are up and down the breakaway. 33 kilometres still to go, and about to leave this beautiful circuit that we've seen today. Not too much wind out there either, it's quite a still day. See the weather forecast, 20 degrees, 5 kilometres per hour. The winds aren't blowing too much from the northeast. And the finish is fairly sheltered as well by most of the city, so it's not going to have any sort of impact on the finale. And really, if you're looking for perfect conditions for the best sprinter in the race to do something, Mareczko has no excuse today. His team, have they expended too much energy in trying to control this breakaway? Well, that's the only doubt we have, really. great roads as well. So Wuxi circuit. Nice to see lots of people coming out the side of the road, not just in the city centre, but also out there in the sticks in the countryside as well. Professional bike racing is relatively new to this area. This, by the way, just the 7th edition of the Tour of Taihu Lake. We're getting used to seeing this, and lots of cycling aficionados out there as well at the start. We had an amateur race go off, around 100 participants there, just 5 minutes onto the same course. There's the riders out in front, and nice to get a gap on the peloton. 25 seconds for the 9-man breakaway on all of the main jerseys in the race. The orange jersey, I remind you here, at the Tour of Taihu Lake is for the race leader. We'll have the blue jersey for the best young rider. That is currently Timur Malev of Ukraine. He rides for ISD Yorbi. He's just on the right-hand side of the peloton if you take a quick look, surrounded by the white and yellow jerseys of the Ukrainian team. The green jersey is on the shoulders of Karim Khorrami of Tabriz Petrochemical. They'll be looking for their overall ambitions as the week goes on. Notoriously good climbing team. And the red jersey on the back of Zhao Jingbiao, under number 216. He rides for Wisdom Hengshang cycling team.
Okay.
They've got Marseille Provence at the front. They've only come with 5 riders here. Really interested to see who they go with in the sprint, actually, because Leo Duque, the experienced Colombian, has been up there in top 10s in recent races. He was very, very good at the Ocean Wetlands the other day. Top 10 there. Does he still have it to mix it with the likes of Jakub Mareczko? Maybe even Nicola Marini, who was a stage winner in the Tour of Qinghai Lake. Daniele Colli can also sprint for Nippo Vini Fantini, and they've taken real pressure off themselves in terms of chasing things down today by getting a man in the break, Genki Yamamoto. Means that on the lead out, they can just sit, wait, allow Southeast to burn themselves out. Same with Minsk Cycling Club too. There is Reni Correia on the left-hand side, just out of your shot now, wearing the blue jersey. The start team's an interesting one. They're actually based in Serbia. They're a 3rd division team, a continental team. They do a lot of their racing on the UCI Asia circuit. And down in South America too, on the UCI Americas Tour. Raced the Tour of San Luis at the start of the year. Against the likes of Nairo Quintana, Vincenzo Nibali, some of the top riders in the world. So, as we look back to previous winners here, it's been a mixed bag. We've had lots of different nations. 2 Aussie winners in Sam Wimitz and David Kemp, who was the first winner back in 2010. We've had a winner from the Czech Republic as well. He's here as a DS this week, Milan Kadlec, working very, very hard for the Dukla Praha team. They were in good spirits at the off today. I said they weren't favourites in the sprint, but keeping their cards close to their chest. We will have a go, said their team manager. So inside the last 30 kilometres on stage 1 proper, around this Wuxi Binhu circuit of the Tour of Taihu Lake. We heard from race organisers at the start in that interview that was carried out just before the beginning of play today. They've worked hard to design a more scenic circuit, and I think they've done a great job in showing off the area. Almuratov just pulling the brake on, being left to hang out there at around 28 seconds at the minute, and this is probably the right decision for the peloton. The fact that it's such a short stage today, 111 kilometres, pan-flat circuit really, not too much climbing at all, means that everyone's going to be fresh, and even the smaller teams, if it comes back together with 30 kilometres to go, they'll be attacked, it'll be difficult to control, and that sprint will be a hard thing to set up for both Minsk and Villiers Southeast. There's the leader. Had a fairly easy day today, although it's been an extremely fast race. Green jersey we talked about, around 5 or 6 wheels further back. Karim Khorrami. He's in 2nd position overall. Of course, points, not leading the points classification. He's looking after that jersey for Alexander Golovash, who took the clean sweep yesterday. Interesting thing about the prologue means that it's difficult for the sprint teams. They have to calculate whether they are going to go for intermediate sprints, but I think Southeast have seen an opportunity to maybe take the jersey tomorrow. Manechko started the day at 20 seconds down. He's already got 3 of those seconds back. He's at 17 seconds now, and remind you, wherever you're watching around the world, that 10, 6 and 4 seconds respectively are available on the finish line for bonuses today. So Jakub Manechko could potentially be up to just 7 seconds away off the overall lead going into the second stage, which again we expect to be for sprinters tomorrow. That's before we get to the mountains on stage 3. Now, not everybody's been pulling their weight in the break in the last couple of minutes. You can just see little gaps opening up between the wheels. Is that because certain riders have been told just to sit on and save energy now, even towards tomorrow? Look behind. It's quite a warm day out there as well. It started off as 20 degrees, but quite a lot of humidity in the area. So water needs to be taken on. I'm sure not all of these guys will be used to the 5 AM breakfasts as well. We've heard stories of, what was it, a 40-hour round trip for one particular rider this week. And that honour goes to the rider representing the Dutch team, Park Hotel Valkenberg. That's Adne van Engelen, and we're going to see him probably on stage 3. At least he'll hope that's going to be the case anyway, because he arrived just 24 hours prior to the prologue after, listen to this, a 40-hour round trip. That included stops in Guatemala, United States of America and his native Netherlands. Now, back to the breakaway, back to the racing, because there are a couple of riders who want to spring this out. One such rider is Muradjan Halmuratov from Uzbekistan. He's wearing the red and white jersey. He's been followed by the man from France, Thomas Vaubourgé. And on the right-hand side, these two riders are going to have to work together if they want to keep going here. Behind, yeah, there's a bit of riding off and through, but it's not particularly looking too good. And I think once that gap comes a little below 30 seconds, you're going to see the two cars behind shoot past it and get into that safe area. Shimano in the big blue cars doing neutral service here. With 27.1 kilometres to go, we're not too far away from finishing this final of the 2 30-kilometre circuits. The riders have the advantage of knowing this road. They've been on it once already. By the way, for you viewers in Australia, it's those black and pink jerseys that you're looking out for from the St George Merida cycling team. No sprinters at this race for them. They're looking at Jay Dutton for the overall. Already has a bit of work to do with a 37-second deficit in the prologue 24 minutes ago. Heading into stage 2 tomorrow.
I'm a rider. We're here at Lake Taihu.
The breakaway just about still going. Split up into 2 groups now. We have 7 riders chasing on behind, 2 rebels out in front. Thomas Vaubourgé of Delco Marseille Provence from the French team. One of the 5 teams from the 2nd division, if you like, the professional continental level of world cycling. And he's alongside the man from the 3rd division, from Beijing XTS Innova. That's Muradjan Halmuratov. He's the rider just on the left-hand side now with the red and blue shorts, sort of white and blue jersey. I think they've quite decided which colour to go for there. It's a multicoloured jersey. A bit of the Gianni Savios about it, isn't it? And the Androni team, trying to fit as many sponsors as possible onto the jersey. On the right-hand side, you see the Frenchman we talked about in the light blue from Marseille. That's their first season, pardon me, at the 2nd division. He's not actually doing any turns on the front. A bit of wheel sucking going on here. A little look behind, a gesture. Will you come through? Will you do a turn? Finally, yes is the answer. 25 kilometres to go. And a beautiful sunny morning here. And that little increase in presence and power from the front has taken the gap up back to the orange jersey, pardon me, at 55 seconds. Orange jersey protected by the Minsk Cycling Club, and I think that Villiers South East will be delighted with the help that they've had today. They're the team that everybody will be expecting to do all the riding, because they have Jakub Mareczko, 7 sprint victories here last year. He's not going to get as much of an opportunity to do that this year. Only 5 nailed on sprints, we think. Last one an opportunity. He will get the help from his team though. They're set up to help him. They do have Yonder Goro as an opportunity for the overall general classification. As we take a look at the 6th race here now for Halmurdarov, national champion of Uzbekistan in the individual time trial. Uzbekistan's most famous rider now rides with a Russian license, actually. Sergei Lagutin rides for Katusha. Katusha, the World Tour team, will actually be a Swiss team next year. 131 on the left-hand side is one of the riders we were telling you about, actually. Adne van Engelen. A long journey around the world to get here. His debut in a 2.1 rated race.
My name's Jay Dudden. I'm from the Australian Continental Team St George Merida, and we're very excited to get underway with the 2016 Taihu Lake.
You're watching live coverage of the Tour of Taihu Lake 2016, the 7th edition of this race in the east of China. 24.2 kilometres remain on the opening stage proper. And look at the peloton here, strong out, chasing fast. It has been a lightning fast day. For those of you just joining us, a little reminder of what's happened. We had the first intermediate sprint when the peloton was still all together. Villiers South East, the team of last year's winner Jakub Mareczko, and the favourite sprinter here, chasing everything down. He's hovering towards the back of the peloton, hidden and kept nice and safe out of any wind towards the back. He won the first intermediate sprint. Second sprint was taken by the breakaway of 9 riders that went away. 2 riders survived from that break, and they're 55 seconds ahead of the race leaders team. Minsk Cycling Club, that race leader is Alexander Golovash of Ukraine. There he is in the orange jersey. Just behind him, another team from Ukraine, ISD. They have the best young rider in the race in the blue jersey, Timur Maliv. You can see the green jersey on the left-hand side, that's Karim Korami, wearing the points jersey from the Iranian team, Tabriz Petrochemical. And this is the lead of the race. At the back, you can see the Frenchman in the blue jersey, Thomas Vaubourset. And the man just taking his place at the back now with 61 on, that multicoloured jersey from Beijing XDS, and that's Murjan Halmuratov of Uzbekistan. So 55 seconds. Peloton won't be too worried about this with 23.3 kilometres to go. We're about to leave the 2-lap circuit that we've seen some beautiful scenery around the city of Wuxi on. You can see it's getting a little more urban now as we get back into town. That big slip road they go on, a little less scenic than the big scenery roads we've seen around the hills and the statues over the last half an hour or so. But wide roads is good for sprinters. And I think Villiers South East are going to be pretty happy about that. Who can challenge Jakub Mareczko? Well, once they catch the breakaway, which we expect them to, Nipovini Fantini are looking for either Daniele Colli or Nicola Marini, who was actually a stage winner at the Tour of Taihu Lake, and he managed a top 8 position overall. None of those teams have had to do too much work yet as well, so they'll have plenty of firepower in the lead-out. Villiers South East have just got 1 man present, working hard to try and just help in the chase. That's Mirko Tedeschi, Italian rider. And still 55 seconds to chase down, but with 22 kilometres still to go, it's an easy watch. Nice photographic opportunities for those on the side of the road who've taken the trouble to get on a Sunday morning. A very, very early start this Sunday morning with an 8:25 start. It's just gone a 10:15 local time in the east of China. The early mist still about. That's the Grand Canal we can see on the left-hand side. canal actually had to be excavated because it was part of the original historic town. The new canal actually created in 1949. Since then, Wuxi, the city, has grown up as part of China's outstanding economic development. Only 130 kilometers west of Shanghai, so plenty of factories and business parks out here. Big rail links, a huge motorway link as well. A perfect place to develop industry. And one of the big industry is tourism around here. The lake playing a huge part in that. And just take a look to the graphic at the top. 1 minute, the gap is growing. And that's the only danger really for everybody chasing behind. The fact that we have a really short stage today. We only had a 5.9 kilometer race yesterday, so no excuse not to have fresh legs here, even though it is the end of the season. If you've turned up for this race, this is the day where you're going to give it all on the road. Plenty of firepower to keep the break going. No doubt who's to the fresher of the two riders as well. It's the Frenchman at the back here. He has hardly seen the wind. He's been sucking on the wheel of the man doing most of the work. Burajan Halmuratov knows all about this race. 6th appearance in the Tour of Taihu. Tai, the name of the lake, Hu in Mandarin meaning lake. As this is the end of the circuit now with 21 kilometers to go. That was the left turn off Chanbo Road. On the side now of the Shili Mingju levee. And even those in traditional dress have turned up as well-wishers. Wuxi in the distance, by the way, just hidden away in the mist. Hard to keep this one going with 20.5 kilometers to go. It's not just going to be a sprint fest this week, by the way, for those of you planning your viewing. We've got a very long climb up to Anji. Beautifully scenic roads up there, do not miss that. Check your schedules wherever you're watching around the world and set your recorders. In the meantime, there's a bit of a chat going on between the Minsk Cycling Club and Villa Triestina Southeast. Probably along the lines of, all right guys, we've done our bit, you're the sprinters, you're the favourites, when are you going to start to do your work? In the meantime, Mirko Tedeschi responding with, well, not my fault, mate, I'm only given team orders. IST have done well to honour their jersey as well today, riding towards the front. Talking to a couple of their DSs at the start, in fact, I had a quick chat with Alexei Solobtsnev in the car. He said we're looking at maybe the sprint with either Vladislav Kreminski or Yehor Dementiev. Now, Kreminski was up there in the early incarnation of the break, so I gather that Dementiev will be the more fresher of the two riders. Take a look out for rider number 102 when it gets to the fast stuff at the end. Inside 20 kilometers now, the gap has gone down to 50 seconds. It hasn't been an easy year for Delco Marseille Provence. Those of you who followed cycling development and maybe fans of all the youth riders that their team has produced down the years, it's come from a team called Lapon Marseille that has been developing good riders in France for quite a long time in the Provence region. Decided to move up, have a go at the professional ranks this year. Signed some experienced riders in their sprinter, the Colombian Leo Duque, who we might see towards the end. They've also got a good Algerian rider, Soufiane Merignac, who's here riding for them with number 2. But they had a difficult start to the week yesterday. The rider wearing number 1, their team leader, suffered a mechanical problem. He actually finished 2 minutes and 40 seconds down, but because of the mechanical problem, the commissaires managed to just help him out a bit. They gave him the same time as the last rider in the race, so he starts at 1 minute and 31 seconds down on stage 2. So not a good start for Fredrik Strand-Galte, the Norwegian leader of Delco Marseille. we look at the peloton, still nice and strong out and chasing on. Now this is interesting. Remnants of the break being caught. Start cycling team trying to keep this going. Oh, it's a hard ass from here, Rene. Save your legs till tomorrow. 50 seconds then from the head of the race to the peloton. There have been 7 riders in between. It was originally a 9-man break, but a breakaway has been one of the shortest parts of the race today. It took a long, long time to go. Just over 50 kilometres covered in the first hour. A slightly slower second hour as things calm down. But we're approaching 2 hours gone and, well, not far off 100 kilometres ridden. Average is going to be well above 40 odd. There's the little marks of the intermediate sprints on the top tube there for Vaubourset, who is obviously on breakaway duty today. Told to follow any moves by sports directors. Sports director from Lithuania, by the way, from Delco, that's Arvis Bizisk. Gap down to 45 seconds, so a good job, controlled job being done by the chasing peloton. Just rolling along. No huge gears being pedalled here. Breakaway riders spinning away. And an interesting change. Just look to the right-hand side of the peloton and those fluorescent yellow helmets and sleeves. That's the team of Jakub Marichko moving up with 16.8 kilometres to go. It's business time for them, and they have a job to do here. Anything less than a stage win would be a failure. Talking to everybody around there, even big rivals, they've all said, if Jakub Marichko does not win today, I'll be very surprised. One director even went as far as to say, Jakub Marichko will win the stage. No pressure, Jakub. He's only 22 years of age, the young rider from the north of Italy. He's of Polish extraction, but he's a full-blooded Italian. Went to the World Championships, the under-23 road race, the sprinters race, hoping to do something, and he managed to take a bronze medal. The national selectors were very happy with what he pulled off there. At least to pull it off today, his team need to help chase this break first. Interesting that Vaubourset's actually starting to do a little bit of work now.
Yeah.
And behind him, Murajan Halmuratov started at 24 seconds down on the overall general classification before today. So attacks off the front, and this is interesting. This is going to be really hard for anybody to control. Delco Marseille decided to make this a difficult one, and it just shows Villers-at Triestina Southeast moving up at the right time, but they haven't yet taken control. And they cannot afford to let this get out of hand. Attacks off the front, and you could just tell, we saw the conversation, didn't we, about 5 kilometers back. The leaders team, Alexander Golovash in the orange jersey and his domestiques from the Minsk Cycling Club, turning around and talking to Villers Triestina Southeast and saying, you've got to do some work, guys. They've peeled off, and this is what's happened at the front. Delco getting involved. It's been chased down by one of the Dukla Praha teams. Also involved is one of the riders from one of the Chinese teams, actually, Team Livshan Landscape. .25 seconds is the advantage, and it's been chased down straight away. In fact, it's the Minsk Cycling Club, because of a few riders dangerous to that lead, chasing it down. But it just shows if there's any sort of let up, any sort of hesitation at the head of the peloton, those things can happen. Still, no reaction from Villers Triestina Southeast, just on the right-hand side of the shot. It is fairly reacts towards the back of the peloton, but you can see that a lot of the Minsk domestics have done their jobs already. They've worked hard today. There's number 111. That's Jochen Sobal. In the meantime, bad news for the break is that little attack from behind drew the peloton out, and the gap has gone down to just 20 seconds now. 14.7 kilometres to go.
On est à l'entête.
So Voborzé and Halmuratov. 14.5 Ks to go. Again, have to work hard, have to keep helping each other out. It's a strange concept to understand, isn't it, sometimes? Cycling a wonderful sport full of little intricacies and idiosyncrasies. Opposition members working together as a team, well, it's part of the sport. Only if they can work together. That is when they'll keep their advantage going.
Well, welcome back to live pictures, and as you can see on the finish line here in Wuxi, it's still a bit damp, and unfortunately our helicopter that helps provide live pictures is unable to get up. There's the sky, you can see very low cloud cover. So at the moment we are just looking at the finish line there. The race is on in earnest out around the course. So let's go back now, continue to the final stages of the opening stage of last year's race with our commentator, Rob Hatch.
Kilometres of stage one proper of the 2016 edition of the Taihu Lake Tour. 7th edition of this race. It's normally a sprinter's race. This year, things do change with the mountaintop finish. We've had the prologue. 20 seconds for a lone leader now. Alexander Golovash in the orange jersey behind, and his team trying to chase down Thomas Vaubourset. The French team, Delco Marseille Provence. He's lost his companion. Mujan Halmuratov of Uzbekistan has been dropped. 11.2 kilometers to go, and it's all about Jakub Mareczko, last year's overall winner, hoping at least to win the sprints this time out. Can they chase him down? Can they do the job? I think most people would say, wherever you're watching, this is a perfect situation for the sprinters teams. Just 20 seconds, one lone rider out the front, and the sprinters teams haven't even started working yet. It's all been left down to the GC leaders team. Alexander Golovash to do the riding. inCycling Club from Belarus have done that riding rather well. And the gap down to 15 seconds. We're approaching Wuxi. Wuxi, where we had the prologue yesterday. Just looking at that shot at the base of the screen, the bunch is bunched together for the first time really since the race started today. It's been one long line of fast riders. That just gives you an indication of the fact that they do not want to catch this man yet. They are waiting, waiting, and waiting someone. They know that once they catch, sprinters teams have to come to the front and control to stop any late attacks going. It's a short stage this, just 111.3 kilometers. Flat roads all the way through. Wide open roads, a nice big fast finish. If you want to win this and you're not a sprinter, you have to surprise the peloton. You have to attack soon, and you have to take a few different riders with you. It's those sort of attacks that they're going to have to try and stop. And it's an early attack, an attempt to try and bridge from the Levchan landscape team. We saw Vitaly Popkov yesterday setting one of the early times, and it is Vitaly Popkov who's gone off the front and had a go with his time trialing skills. So the Russian rider in that green jersey, I'm not sure how far he's going to get. Just trying to bridge up to our lone leader. So just less than 10 kilometers to go. 10 kilometers to go with 10 seconds of a lead for our lone leader, Thomas Vaubourset. He's been out in the break since it went well into the second half of the race today. One has now become two. Vitaly Popkov has joined him from Team Levchan Landscape, Chinese continental team, third division team with those bright green jerseys. But look at the peloton chasing on behind. Orange jersey, the leader Alexander Golovash has been well looked after by inCycling Club, and we're looking for Vilja Triestina Southeast and Jakub Mareczko to take control. His team hiding out, waiting, saving themselves. Just on the right-hand side, they're about 30-40 wheels back, but with the width of these roads, it is so easy to move up in this peloton. We're not talking a Grand Tour peloton of 198 riders. There are 131 on the road here. Vilja Southeast, if they control this properly, they should have enough energy to do a really good readout, even though we have just 6 riders in each team. Who's here to lead him out? Well, let's have a quick look down there. They're managed in the car by Luca Amoriello, Italian sports director. Andreato, the Brazilian, will be doing the lead out with Fonzi. Yonder Godoy will be probably trying to save himself for the overall. He did a very, very good individual time trial yesterday. In fact, he sits in the top 5 as we speak. Venezuelan climber, but there's Mirko Tedeschiu's helped out in the chase. And Matteo Draperi, who's there as well. So how long are they going to stay out there? That's the question. As long as the sprinters teams can leave it. Nice to see so much interest, by the way. As long as all these little attacks are monitored, these will help the sprinters teams. It'll just string it out a little, it'll do the chasing for them, but they have to watch to make sure these little groups do not grow. Vaubourset and Popkov have around 5 seconds ahead of the peloton. These little motorbikes behind are actually helping those attacks at the minute. You'll see them go into the slipstream, attempt to try and get away. That last attempt from the start team have been one of the most active teams today with 2 riders in the breakaway. Not given too much of a hand this time. 8 kilometers to go. inCycling team do the job to chase it down. So can anybody surprise Jakub Mareczko here? Look out for the man in the green jersey, Karim Kourami of Tabriz Petrochemical. Close to winning the stage yesterday. Not close enough as far as he was concerned. I have a feeling that they might be giving up the ghost already in the breakaway. A little look behind, shall we carry on? Oh, it's half-hearted, isn't it? It's such a difficult task for Vitaly Popkov. I look at the makeup of him. Huge, big, thick lad. He's got a time trialist body, hasn't he? He knows how to get low on the bars. Put in a good time yesterday. He's just not good enough out there at the minute. Looks like he's got a huge front chain ring as well. I saw a couple of 54s out there today. Maybe he's been watching Tony Martin too much. He said that was a track event last week. Somebody had a 64 tooth chain ring on the front. I don't think I could pedal that with the biggest meal of protein you could give me. Horrible thing. Kilometres. It's the Iranian team, Tabriz Petrochemical. Important job here for the guys at the back. And look at the number 171 there. He's the overall leader for St George Merida cycling team. Jay Dutton, young Australian, very mature head on him. Said that his team was here for the overall, despite the fact that it was the first 2.1 race they'd ever ridden. He's over here for 5 weeks, in fact, a 5-week block of racing in China and Chinese Taipei. Vitaly Popkov is caught. Vaubourze still out there. But it's important for Jay Dutton just to keep in touch. Won't want to lose any more time ahead of the climb. He's already 37 seconds down on the overall leader. But of course, as we get to the mountain, those leaders will change. It's about having the same sort of time that the rest of the climbers are going to have. And I think that was the final little look behind. That is it from Vaubourze. He's going to be caught. And it is Tabriz Petrochemical who take it up. Look straight away that Mint Cycling Club have disappeared off the front of the peloton. They worked hard today. The orange jersey, I think it's just about finishing in the peloton if he can. Peloton is going to come all together for the last 5 kilometres, and this is where Villiers need to start taking over. We saw them close, and you can just see on the left-hand side a little bit of an attack being launched, and this is the danger here. Those moves are going to go. In fact, it's the best Chinese rider. Zhao Jingbiao. Red jersey on his shoulders. Big right turn coming here. In fact, it is the final right turn before a straightish run-in. Certainly of the 90-degree nature anyway. A little look behind. This is a thankless task, by the way, attacking now. Certainly with the big sprinters here. We haven't seen Nippo Fantini close to the front yet, but I'm pretty sure that they'll be trying to set something up. There is Vaubourze on the right side. He's been absorbed, has gone straight back out of the back of the peloton. And for anybody wanting to get in the breakaway over the next couple of days, they will not mind being spat out the back now. They'll be quite happy to lose a bit of time. It makes it very much easier in terms of being allowed up the road as the week goes on. So you know it's business time when the team in yellow, Flow, grey and red comes to the front. Villiers Triestina, southeast. The man at the back of their little train there is the man who won 7 sprint stages last year here and took the overall prize.
This is all right.
That latter prize is probably going to be a bit too hard for him this year with the climb involved. But Jaco Mareczko, the young Italian, should be one of the favourites to take the sprint here. Team from Latvia on the right-hand side in the light blue. They'll be looking to try and do something. Rietmo Delphin. Peter Prus did lead yesterday for a long time, finished just 8 seconds down in the individual prologue. 4 kilometres to go. Pace hotting up now. And again, it's a fight just to keep the wheels at the back. Look out for the team from Brazil in white and orange here. Funvik Sol. Several riders who could sprint from them. Take your pick, really. Alex Diniz is down as their leader. But they have several fast riders. Nick Villiers happy to be on their wheels at the minute. There's Fonzie towards the back, just looking after Mareczko. If you're looking out for Jaco Mareczko, pardon me, he has a red bike, a brand new model of aero bike riding. He it will be hidden right until the very last. 1-1-1 at the back. We've seen him working hard earlier in the stage. Johan Sobal. 1-1-4 just in front of him, Konstantin Klimanankov. And yes, this is Wuxi, the metropolis that is Wuxi. 130 kilometers west of Shanghai. Beautiful mix of the traditional and the modern. We've seen its scenery. Now time to see how the riders race on its roads. 191 and out of the game there is Jan Kraus of Dukla Praha. And it's a fight for the front. Two different trains on the front, left and right, into the final 3 kilometers. This is Vili on the left-hand side. Dukla Praha with a couple of riders in the black jerseys. They've got the little bands, by the way. It's quite a minimalist kit. Black with the yellow helmets on, the yellow and red bands. On the right-hand side, some extremely strong riders from Lithuania riding those giant bikes. That's Riet Mudelfin team, another 3rd division team. There's the top team from the 2nd division here, from UCI professional continental level, and with a sprinter who started the Giro d'Italia at the start of the year, Jakub Mareczko. They're the favourites. 2.3 kilometres to go. Green jersey on the left-hand side, look out for him. Just trying to surf the wheels at the minute. He's lost a few teammates from Tabriz Petrochemical. And that's the problem here for the sprinters. If you do lose the wheel, if you do lose your team, it's 2 kilometres to go now. One team has control, and you're just going to have to be rather clever. Look for the lead-out man, look for the wheel to follow. They'll all be looking and fighting for the wheel of Jakub Mareczko. He's going to be the first man to go. He is at the back of the 5-man train on the left-hand side. Crouch low in that red bike, right at the right-hand side of the shot. 2 kilometres remain. Stage 1 of this 2016 Tour of Taihu Lake. 9 men went out of the break. This is Nippo Vini Fantini adding a bit of firepower to the front as well. Are they looking at Marini? Are they looking at Colli? That's the question. Colli can climb a little, even though he's a sprinter. He's won 5 or 6 stages in races in China previously. Godoy takes it up, the Venezuelan, for Villiers Southeast. A couple of teams involved from China as well. Hang Shang not far away. RTS Monton with riders in there as well. 1.5 Ks to go, approaching the Flamme Rouge now. A couple of riders from start in there too. Several blue jerseys. There's the best Chinese rider, second wheel. That is Zheng Zhaobiao. Did really well in this race last year, and he's going to be the man who is going to try and sprint, but it is really early still with 1.4 kilometres to go. Of course, the Chinese riders have to show their faces here, though. This is a huge event, and the development of Chinese cycling, we'll talk about much this week, is skyrocketing. 1.3 Ks to go, though, and it's a task just to hold on at the back for Jimajon Sidikov, the rider from Uzbekistan. Lead-out hasn't been great today for Villiers Triestina Southeast. They've missed the wheels a little bit. Jakub Mareczko coming into the Flamme Rouge. There it is, 1 kilometre to go. He can find himself a little further back. He's got to move up already, and he's in danger of being boxed in. Left-hand side, right-hand side as we look at it now. So 1 kilometre to go. It should be 2 riders to lead out Jakub Mareczko. With 200 to go, he's the man who'll be launched. He is the man who'll be hoping to win this stage. He should win it. He's the best sprinter here, but it's a little bit chaotic coming into the final 800 metres. 3 different teams trying to look for it. Looking at Mareczko, he's the second man, and they're actually leaving it to a couple of other teams to try and do it. Here is Colli now trying to lead it out on the right-hand side for Nippo Vini Fantini. On the right-hand side too is Fonzi. Mareczko on his wheel, 500 metres to go, and the sprint is about to be lynched. Now you can see Mareczko in the right position. He's going to come around the wheel. He is about to hit the front, and he can see the finish light in sight. 2 hours, 20 minutes of racing. Mareczko does hit the front. Colli coming around him. It will be Colli to sprint for Nippo. Mareczko is there though. Surely it's his race. This is Mareczko all the way. And Jakub Mareczko takes stage 1 and continues where he left off at the Tour of Taihu Lake. So Mareczko was up there. It was chaotic in the end. Daniele Colli not far away for Nippo Vini Fantini. But it is all about number 44. 132, Massimo Graziato on the left-hand side had a go. Nicola Marini of Nippo Vini Fantini up there. So it is Mareczko, Marini, Zanotti with Parker Bogdanovic completing the top 5. There's the winner. He had a bit of a disaster at his first Tour d'Italia this year. He said he learned a heck of a lot from this period of racing last year, though, the 22-year-old Italian. He's back. And a name that these Chinese fans will recognise. Jakub Mareczko of Italy wins stage 1 of the 7th Tour of Taihu Lake. What a good top 10 finish for Zhao Jingbiao as well. But the winner on the day, Jakub Mareczko, Marini in second, Zanotti third, with Parker and Bogdanovic making up the top 5.
Jakub, another win for you. You must be delighted. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm very happy for this victory here in Taihu Lake. This year I want to try win some stage here, and today I can do it.
Are you looking maybe for points jersey? You won the first intermediate sprint to get those points. Are you hoping for orange jersey maybe tomorrow?
Orange jersey it's hard to take it, but maybe the point jersey, I think that I can take it maybe.
And today it was very fast at the end, and a lot of people around you. Did you ever think you may not win today? Were you very confident all the time? How did you feel in the last kilometer?
Today I had got a good team that helped me in the final kilometers. Tedeschi in the first kilometer work Draperi, and in the last kilometer work Tedeschi, Fonzi and Andreato that pilot me in the final meters.
And looking at tomorrow's stage, maybe another win for you. Have you looked ahead? How do you think about tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow the stage is flat, it's for me, and maybe I hope to do the same that today.
Okay, Jakub, well done. Thank you very much indeed. Well done.
A very happy Jakub Mareczko. And he hasn't finished yet. He wants more tomorrow. This is stage 1 with Jakub Mareczko beating Nicola Marini and Zanotti making up an entire Italian podium. Luke Parker of Australia in 4th with Bogdanovic in 5th. Leo Duque, the Colombian, in 6th place. Graziato, Grossu, Metlushenko and Zhao making up the top 10, the top Chinese rider. He'll hold on to his red jersey.
Welcome back to live pictures of the Tour of Lake Taihu. As you can see there, the roads are still wet. Damp conditions here for the opening road stage. Of course, we had the prologue yesterday, and it was the Canadian from Montreal, Guillaume Bovin, riding for the Israeli Cycling Academy, that took out that opening prologue. A little bit of wind about as well today, so a huge turnaround in conditions. We had hot conditions for the opening prologue. This was earlier today on the start line. Distinguished guests there getting the race underway. And the red jersey there being worn by the leading Chinese rider there. But it's Guillaume Bovin who wears the orange jersey as leader of this race. He holds a very small lead over Techkov, riding for Jelly Belly, just 0.2 of a second behind. And we see a breakaway here, and that's the rider from the Marseille Delco squad, and it's number 141 there from the Cols cycling team, also in the move. And that's number 6, is it? Pasha Quintin from the Delco squad team. Of course, they won this race last year with Duki. It was his final race of his career, Leonardo Duki, and he won it on the final stage. And so really miserable conditions. It's not so cold, just the wet roads, the damp weather. It's not what the riders would like to turn up to today. They're probably expecting some warm weather, so it's sluggish conditions, and it can favour more riders than others, and that's a Manzana Postobon squad rider now. Colombian team now riding across to this breakaway, or at least attempting to. He looks like he's going to get there. He's got the vest on, so we can't get a glimpse of his number just yet, but we'll try and get some confirmation. So he joins the two leaders now out in front. So it's Quintin and the rider 141 Vitaly Butts from the Cols cycling team. And the Manzana Postobon rider there, he's keen to move along. And there it is, Tots Tsatikis, who number 186, who's also in that move. So 3 riders ahead of the race. I can't imagine the peloton would let them get too far ahead. It really should be a day for the sprinters, but with the conditions, you never know what can happen. That is the beauty of bicycle racing. And so apologies for earlier today, just with the lack of helicopter vision that we could give because of the conditions. And we could not provide any live pictures just due to the safety and the picture breakup. But we've got some pictures now, which is good to see. These were recorded from the back of our motorbikes earlier today. And so we're looking at earlier vision now of the race. And so these 3 riders, they opened up an early lead. Working well together. And Delco Marseille in the blue colours there on the back, that's Quintin. They'd be motivated to try and emulate the feats of their rider from last year who took out this race on the final stage. It was the Australian Cameron Bailey who was in fact leading the race last year for Ataki Team Gusto. He crashed in the final kilometres, lost valuable seconds, and it cost him the overall victory. A race really that he should have won. But that's the pitfalls, the highs and lows of professional cycling, where they take no prisoners and they wait for nobody. The race must continue on. And for these 3, that is their intentions. You can just see there, taking the corner there, damp conditions, and just really taking it pretty easy through that left-hand corner there. And the Greek rider just looking over his shoulder there, riding for Manzana Postobon. This squad, while they competed in the Vuelta a España, just last month. And they were very present. Jess de Bol, the Dutchman who also rides for that team, he was in the Vuelta a España and he's here in this race. So I expect to see him move towards head of affairs throughout this week. He was very active in the Vuelta a España. Sulkakis now makes his turn at the front, followed by Vitili Butts there for the Coles cycling team. So these three, they're not holding back. Well, he's a bit of a rock of the head there from Totsakis. He's not happy. I think he's thinking Quintin isn't doing his fair share of the work. Just missed the turn there. So they're out on the big loop now. It's 111 kilometres, the opening stage. They head out around Lake Taihu. They do 2 larger laps. And then they make their way back in towards the finish. 2 more riders now that were going across or attempting to go across. Number 82 there from Team Ataki Gusto and number 121. And so that's Benjamin Hill, the Australian. He competes very well on the Asian circuit and he is hungry for more success. And so too Alexis Carter for the Canadian squad, H&R Block cycling team. Well, it's another Canadian compatriot that is leading this race, that he rides for another team. So these two now, Hill and Cartier, they made it across to these leading 3. Ben Hill, the Australian, he's such an aggressive rider. He had a good opening prologue yesterday, finishing in 13th place. And just 8 seconds, in fact, off the winner, Guillaume Boivin, the French-Canadian. So Hill, and they'd like to make amends from last year. As I mentioned, Cameron Bailey, he was the rider, the Australian, who, well, looks set to win the 7th edition of the Tour of Lake Taihu. Crashed on the final stage and it cost him victory. There is the 1 kilometre for the first intermediate sprint of the day. Hill not keen to roll through just yet, but Sulkakis will have none of it. He forces him through. It'll be interesting to see what the riders did at this intermediate sprint. Let's just remind you, it's 3, 2 and 1 bonus seconds. So for Hill, these are important seconds. It could be a race that could be won and lost on bonifications. So Hill, he rode 6 minutes and 20 seconds in yesterday's opening prologue. Boivin rode 6:12, so he's just 8 seconds. If he managed to get this intermediate sprint, that would just put him a little bit closer to the pointy end. He'll be hunting. It will just interesting to see who is got the fastest sprint here. They're all keen on it, you can tell. And so it looks like Hill goes to jump. Are they going to sprint? And it's the Delco Marseille rider as they cross over there. Still towards the line. And Hill looking over his shoulder, so he collects 1 point there, 1 sprint second, I should say. And the peloton now being led by the Israel Academy team, by the looks of it. Postobon also at the front. And the Villiers team, Triestina, also there for their main man, Jakub Mareczko. So the peloton all together. And this was recorded earlier today. And there it is, Vitili Butts, the Ukraine, he took the sprint. Tsotsakis in second, and Hill, the Australian, 1 second. So that won't change the overall standings just yet. Peloton rolls through as they continue on this larger lap of this first stage. Back to live pictures of the Tour of Lake Taihu, and the finish line there, well, it's a damp sight today for the opening stage. We had the prologue yesterday. And just a reminder, if you're just joining us, well, our helicopter is unable to get up in the air due to the low cloud cover. So we're unable to provide live pictures today. However, we will now go to Cam 3, Moto 3 on the course. And these were the leaders earlier today. And Sulkakis there in the pink and black colours at the back. Well, he's in fact races for the Monton Racing team. Number 121, that's Alexis Cartier, the Canadian, for the H&R Lock Pro Cycling team. Ben Hill for Team Ataki Gusto is also in that move. He's on the front there now in number 82. The rider for the Cols cycling team is Vitili Butts. And the Delco Marseille squad in the blue colours there, also pulling his turn at the front, is Quintin Pachet. So they are the leaders earlier today. We will show you the finish of today's stage. But at the moment, we'll stick with what happened earlier today. And these riders working well together. We saw the intermediate sprint there before, and it was Tsourkakis who took it out for the Monton Racing team. There's Hill, the Australian. Well, he's come off the back of an interesting season, but earlier this year he had a nasty crash in the Bretagne region, broke his collarbone, and recently got engaged. Ben Hill to a 2 times individual pursuit world champion Rebecca Wyasak. So it's been an up and down year for the Australian. Cartier there, just looking to get some food. He looks like he might be struggling a little bit, having a drink as well. So the Canadian riding for H&R Block. Good success, early success for the Canadians. And it was Guillaume Bovin who took out that opening prologue yesterday just by 0.2 of a second. And there's our leaders there. So 5 riders in the lead. And this is Pacher in the blue colours, the Frenchman. There's Hill and Cartier now. Tsourkakis rolling his way back towards the rear. Well, Cartier looks like he's struggling, the Canadian, because he is not prepared to move off the back. So he looks like he's hurting a little bit. It's fairly flat opening stage. A couple of little bumps like what we're seeing now, but nothing really that will stretch the riders. All things considered, we should see a mass sprint to the line. Well, these riders would like to have something to say about that in this breakaway. They'd dearly love to stay away, upset the sprinters teams. And generally that's why you see these teams go on the attack, because they don't have a pure sprinter. So they try and put the pressure on the sprinters teams to chase. And no surprises earlier before the break when we saw the Villa Trestina team working towards the front there. So too with the Israel Cycling Academy. Incidentally, the Giro d'Italia, it starts in Israel next year, the first 3 stages for 2018. The first time a Grand Tour starts outside of Europe. And so I would imagine the Israel Cycling Academy would be looking to get a wildcard entry into that race. The world's 2nd biggest bike race, 2nd Grand Tour. And Butts there, sitting up, just trying to offload the jacket. He's warm enough, he thinks. Well, that's confidence, isn't it, in the weather? Decides to slide it up under the top of his jersey. Hill there tucked in, he takes his place at the rear. So Cartier now rolling through, Tsourkakis on the front. Team car there for Butts, for looking like it wants to move up towards the front. In fact, that's the Shimano neutral support there. So now he'll hand his jacket back in. So damp conditions for the riders, but certainly nothing they're not used to. They certainly would have raced in cooler conditions than this. And longer stages, just 111 kilometres today for the opening road stage. We've had the prologue yesterday in searing heat, so it's a real contrast today. Hill now, the Australian. He's eager to push this break along. Riders just taking it easy through the corner there. Will they be able to hold this peloton at bay? We'll find out. So back with the break now. And this was recorded earlier today. And once again, we apologise for the lack of live pictures, but because of the low cloud today, the damp conditions, our helicopter that provides live pictures is unable to get into the skies. However, our motos have done a fantastic job of getting some good vision of what has unfolded. And this breakaway out in front, we've been with them now for some time, and they're working well together. We've got the Frenchman on the front there in the blue colours. That's Quentin Pacher for the Delco Marseille squad. Ben Hill for Team Ataki Gusto. He takes his turn through. Zotsakis for the Monton Racing team in the pink and black colours. Cartier, the Canadian, for H&R Block. And Vitili Butts for the Coles cycling team. So 5 riders, and you can see there the wiping of the lens to try and keep that picture clear. It's just a real slight drizzle, but it's the low cloud that is causing us the biggest headaches today. But the race goes on. They don't stop for anything. Well, I think in the past it takes a little bit of snow and worse for organisers to halt a bike race. But wet roads, they will continue on. It's not very cold out there. It's a lot cooler than what it was yesterday. We had 30+ degrees Celsius for yesterday's opening prologue. And just to recap, it was Guillaume Bovin who took it out. The French-Canadian from Montreal. He's had a pretty good season, and he's fresh off the World Championships in Bergen, Norway. He was in 35th place there. Doesn't sound like much, but it was a select group at the end. So Bovin has some good form, and he proved that yesterday. Cartier there, just having a bit of a chat to his team car. Well, he doesn't want to lag too far behind. He looked like he was struggling before. And he's trying to get some more fluids into him. Looks like we've got another 2 riders now. Well, where have they come from? So 2 more riders, and that looks like one rider from the Eritrean squad, number 223, and number 26 there also. So number 26, now they're from the Manzana Postobon squad. It's Sergio Garcia, and number 223 for the Eritrean national team, Daniel Habtekim-Kal. So Eritrean cycling, well, what an amazing story they've been over the last few years. A couple of them have competed at the Tour de France already, and gee, their fans followed them there. I was very fortunate enough to see the Eritreans compete at the Tour de France, and wow, passionate fans. And it was Daniel Teklahamanot who managed to hold on to the King of the Mountains jersey, the polka dot jersey at the Tour de France last year, and he became an overnight hero in his country and really in a global sense as well. The first Eritreans to compete in the Tour de France. So they are stepping it up, and they're stepping it up today because this rider here, Habtekim-Kal, who's now ridden across with the Manzana Postobon squad, the Colombian squad. So they're seeing that this break is a little bit dangerous, and so they've decided to put 2 riders, and it's a good move. I'd love to know the gap that they crossed, because it would have been a big effort, this breakaway. They've been working well together. So now we are 7. I would imagine Cartier, he'd be happy to see these 2. He looked like he was struggling a little bit, the Canadian riding for H&R Block. Vitili Butts there, speaking through his race radio, just trying to probably get an update. And so too the Manzana Postobon rider there. They just want to know what's going on behind. Look at the Eritrean rider there, just pedaling the gears, nice and easy. Good cadence. He'll be happy with this. Team car now coming up. So this is the head of the race, the peloton. They are leading the chase. And it is the Israel cycling team that is leading that chase. And so too the Villa Trestina squad of Jakub Marechko. And so we're back with the break from earlier today. And Quentin Pacher, well, a slight grimace on the face, so they're all working hard out in this breakaway. This was recorded earlier today. And you can see there the damp conditions and the continuing wiping of the lens just to provide these pictures. This came from our motos that were out on the course. Our helicopter was unable to get up in the air, and you can just see the sky there, really low cloud cover. So our helicopter that provides live pictures has not been able to get up in the skies at all today. So we apologise for that, but we will bring you the finish line coverage. We have a camera on the finish line, and so we'll do our best, and hopefully we'll see a mass sprint to the line. Or maybe this break will stay away, who knows. They're all working well together. They've got a common cause, these riders out in the breakaway. This is where you forget about what jersey is on your back and you become teammates, allies out on the course, at least for now. try and hold that break at bay. Ben Hill there for Team Attacchi Gusto. Mansana Postobon squad there. And there's Zortzakis from the Monton Racing team. Cole cycling team there, Vitili Butts. He was in the move from the beginning. The big Canadian, Alexis Cartier for H&R Block cycling team. And then of course the Frenchman, Quentin Pacher. So they're all working well together. This will become a big chase from the peloton. And it will take more than just one team. A little bit of bump in the road there. Well, Hill almost lost the sunglasses. Looks like real sluggish conditions out on the course. So the team cars have come up, so that certainly signifies that the gap has been well over a minute. Normally they don't let the team cars in behind the break unless they have more than a 1 minute advantage. So the team cars have come up. So that's good signs for the breakaway. They've already had the first intermediate sprint of the day, and it was Zortzakis who featured in that. Ben Hill looked for some points as well. He only managed third, but he did get 1 second bonus. At the start of the day, Hill, he only trailed, well, he finished in 13th place yesterday. Just 8 seconds off the victory from Guillaume Bovin, the Canadian, who comes from Montreal. Bovin, he's had a pretty good year. As I mentioned, he's just fresh from the World Championships in Bergen, and you can see there Butts, he's giving the signal. Just keep on rotating, gentlemen. We need to keep rotating turns if we have any chance of holding this peloton at bay. They really must feel they're in with a shot of staying clear. And all things considered, when you look at the course map for today and the terrain, it's pretty much a flat course. However, with the changing conditions, you just never know. Teams start to, well, they second guess, try to play the bluff game, don't really want to chase, they want to force other teams to chase, and you would think that most other teams would be trying to put the pressure on the Villa Triestina squad and the rider of Jakob Marechko. So these riders, well, they're still out in front, and this is further along the course now, and still working well together, still clear of this peloton. We haven't had any vision of the peloton since that first intermediate sprint, and it was the Israel Cycling Academy that was leading the charge at that stage. So too the Villa Triestina team for their Italian sprinter Jakob Marechko. But these riders, well, they're really having a good go at it. The Eritrean rider there at the rear, Heptemikal, Daniel Heptemikal, inspired by some of his countrymen who became the first Eritrean riders to compete in the Tour de France just 12 months ago. And wow, did they not just compete, they certainly made their presence felt. And Heptemikal now, he'll be looking to do the same in this race. A little bit tentative through the corner there, but not too bad. The roads don't seem too slippery, certainly wet. But they're making good progress. You can see here, big, long, wide open stretches. So it's fairly safe conditions, in fact, for the peloton. The sprint finish, that will be a different case, even though it is wide roads and a straight run in towards the line. Teams jostling for position. And will they get the chance? Just maybe. This breakaway will stay clear. So the Eritrean rider at the rear, riding for the national team. I was about to say he's not keen on rolling through, but he is now. And he starts to roll through. It's Vitili Butts for the Cole cycling team. He's the rider that's motivated to keep this break moving along. You could see him gesturing earlier. And so the Ukrainian, all of his teammates in fact from the Ukraine, they're a strong outfit. And they'll look to really force some breakaways over these next 6-7 stages. Ben Hill, well, I was talking to his director sport here yesterday at the prologue, and they said, well, they weren't really setting him for this race. He's got some other objectives over the next few weeks, but he's such an aggressive type of rider. He's such an opportunist. I don't think he can help himself. He just can't sit still in a peloton, and that's how he gets a lot of his results. As we watch him now roll to the front, he rolls over the Frenchman. So that's him there, number 82, Hill. And then it's followed by the Postobon squad. So this is still vision that was recorded earlier today from our motos that were out on the course. Helicopter unable to get up in the air today, but we're just hearing now that the peloton, or the race in fact, the leaders of the race are just 5 kilometres from the finish line. As I said, we will cross to the finish line shot and bring you hopefully some good vision of the sprint to the line. So these pictures we're watching now, this was recorded earlier today. This was the breakaway, the main break of the day. Cartier still in there, Pacher in the blue colours for Delco Marseille. But the race is in fact just 5 kilometres from the finish line. And we will cross to that when we can. So a damp old day for the peloton today in the opening road stage. Just 111 kilometres was the distance. Not a long stage in professional cycling terms, but long enough under conditions like this. So the Eritrean rider there, inCycle, rolls through. Butts now follows. Tsortakis from the Monton racing team. Hill, so they are all working well. They're prepared to lay it on the line today. A couple of the riders have still got the vests on, hiding their numbers there. So cool conditions, I'd imagine. That's Garcia there from the Mansana Postobon squad. Number 26. They competed in the Vuelta a España just last month. And they certainly, well, they were very active in breakaways. So the race is just, well, probably under 5 kilometres before they hit the finish line. We're going to cross live very soon. These are pictures that were recorded earlier today, but very shortly we'll be going to live pictures. And here we go now. So live pictures now as they come in towards the finish line. Well, it is a mass peloton. There's the Villa Triestina squad on the left of the screen. So they're starting to lead the sprint out now for Jakub Mareczko. Let's look to see if we can see him. And it's Bovin there also that's trying to move up, the French-Canadian. Mareczko, is he going to come off the wheel? Not just yet. Here they come towards the line, so it's riders right across the road. It is a mass sprint to the line. Mareczko though, or is it Marini? Marini, it looks like he's going to take it out. Nicolas Marini from Nippo Fantini has taken out the opening stage of the Tour of Lake Taihu. He has got the better of Jakub Mareczko, the Italian who has owned this race in the bunch sprints. But today it is Marini. Well, he got the better of him 12 months ago on one occasion. But Mareczko, he had the psychological upper hand, but today that didn't matter. Today it was a different race, and for Marini, he proved that. Well, let's take a look at the replay. He jumped off the wheel right at the right moment. And gee, convincing victory in the end. Marechko there, well, he got beaten fair and square. He's on the left of Marini there. And look at the joy and the look on his face to take the opening stage. A damp old day. So, oh, what a race we've had unfolded. That main breakaway that we saw earlier pictures of. They really did dominate for the most part of the stage, but in the end, the peloton, they just kept them on a tight string and were able to bring them in. And so, one more time, look at that peloton just panned across the road. You can see the orange colours there, almost in the middle of the picture of Bovin. He is the leader. He won the prologue yesterday, but he really faded. He probably jumped a little bit too soon. It's really, well, no team dominating there, but Marini, look at him in the middle of the picture now, in the saddle, sprinting towards the line. Really did time it to perfection. Marechko on the left of the picture. Well, he just didn't have the legs, not enough to take victory today, but Marini, that was convincing. The other riders are out of the saddle, and the slow motion just shows it. Marini pushes on the line, and looks like a H&R Block rider there from the Canadian squad who may have snuck in for second place. We will get official results very shortly. But Marini, for the Nippo Vini Fantini squad, he's opened up his account here at the Tour of Lake Taihu with victory on the opening road stage. So that's a good day for them. And a good day for the Italian. And so I would imagine it was one mass peloton there. Maybe a few stragglers, a few riders off the back. We didn't hear of too many mishaps out on the course. Let's hope not. Last thing we want to see. So let's throw now to Tim, who's down on the line with our winner.
Nicola, what a fantastic result. Talk me through the sprint.
Yeah, I'm very happy. My team did a great job in the end, especially Alan Marangoni. He lead me out very well. I'm very happy for this victory. I'm searching for a team for the next year because my team will not give me, and I think the victory will help a lot for me.
So how was the race? A lot of rain, was it very tricky? There's a big breakaway. How did it work?
Yeah, very fast stage. Didn't think the rain was, I think they stopped, but continued through all the race. It was very difficult to keep the position because everyone, the first stage, want to sprint. But yeah, it's amazing, I'm very happy. And after the injury I had in August, it's a very good result.
And how does it feel? The wrist is okay now? No loss in power?
Yeah, I know it's good. I worked a lot the last month to arrive here at the top of the condition. Maybe not at the top, but I have a very good shape.
So at the moment it looks like you are the best sprinter. So the other stages coming up, they're all sprinting stage, maybe more wins.
There are a lot of sprinters here. Yes, today we don't know who is the best sprinter because with the rain it's always difficult to say, but there are still at least five stages to have the sprint, and I hope to win again.
And you like this race? You won here last year and you've won again this year. You love coming to China?
Yeah, I love to be here in China. It's the 7th time I think that I'm here. Yes, it's a good place and very happy to be here.
Brilliant. Go to the podium. I'll see you there.
See you later.
Well, so Nicolas Marini there, a very happy young man. And he just said he hasn't got a team as yet for next year. This will certainly help his cause. And so look at that. Nicolas Marini takes the opening stage. And we'll be back shortly with more from the Tour of Lake Taihu. So we're back with the Tour of Taihu Lake. And, well, what a stage we've seen. There it is, Nicolas Marini, the Italian Filippo Fantini, who took it out. And it was Ryan McAnally from H&R Block in second place there. Jakub Mareczko, the man who we thought would have taken it out, he managed only just third today. Lucas Sebastian Haedo from United Healthcare in fourth. And then the list goes on. It was a mass sprint to the line. Riders fanned across the whole road. Damp conditions, and we heard from our winner. And there's the individual classification. So Bovin, well, he still leads just by 1 second there, so that's unchanged. Morgan Smith is in second place. And Jason Lowndes, the Australian, he's in fifth place. Marini moves up to seventh place with that victory. 10 seconds bonification for that stage victory. So that's a good chance for him. And, well, he potentially could double up tomorrow and find himself in the leader's orange jersey. Now the youth best young riders classification, and Jason Lowndes, after yesterday's performance, he holds on to that. Marini again moves up just 1 second behind now. So that's the bonification seconds that have done that, but it's all based on that opening prologue time as well. So Lowndes, he'd be pretty happy with his ride today, riding for the Israel Cycling Academy. And they've still got the overall lead as well in Bovin. So far, so good for that squad. Well, we thank you for joining us on the Tour of Taihu Lake, and we will see you in 2 days' time for live coverage of Stage 3. We hope to see you then. Bye for now.